Hey gang. Hey gang, Jason here with For the Love of Tractors, and I am with the John Deere Max Emerge 2 7200 6-row planter with fertilizer boxes from SpecCast. And you guys said you wanted to see more implements and things like that, and people specifically mentioned planters, so I'm going to do some planters here. I'm not going to overload you on planters necessarily, but maybe we'll do a planter a week for a few weeks here. We'll see. Anyway, this one is really nice from SpecCast and nicely detailed and all that stuff. We're gonna give it a collector's score and all that. So let's talk tractors, y'all. All right, so I moved the tractor off of there because it's not for this review necessarily. Just wanted to have it on there for fun, just to kind of show it hooked up to it. And let's get a look at this planter here. So again, this is from SpecCast, and you can get these still for about 30 bucks roughly. And we'll talk about if that's a good value or not at the end of this thing, but let's just go through it. So you get a jack stand at the front. Now the jack stand doesn't move or anything, but you still get it. Of course, you got your markers. Markers easily go up and down, and you'll notice they are starred or serrated or whatever you want to call them there. To do that, we get planter boxes and insecticide boxes, and we get fertilizer boxes all here. These are nice. There's another version of this that has even bigger hoppers for the fertilizer. It's pretty neat. One thing I just did notice, and I should have noticed this before, we get a nice warning label here on the arm, so that's pretty cool. That's a nice detail, actually. Warning labels and decals go a long way to make a tractor, or a toy, implement, whatever. You can see here we get flashers on each end. We've got some of the sort of mechanism to control flow rate and things like that. And I was thinking, and I am thinking correctly, the wheels raise and lower on there, and there's some detail in that. You can see there the cylinder detail, so that is pretty sweet. And of course we get our slow-moving vehicle sign, which is oddly shaped, if you will, on that one. And you can see all the openers and closers and all that. And then here's a pretty good, you can see where my finger down there, you sort of get the depth adjustment too on those. So really nicely done. I mean, it's a pretty simple planter. It's got the SpecCast realistic style hookup versus the Ertl hitch. But in general, a really nice little planter for 30 bucks. I don't suppose you're getting hurt too bad here. So let's give it a collector's score here. So value on this planter. So like I said, 30 bucks. Part of me says that's a little high, but then part of me says that it's not too bad at all, actually. So I'm going to go kind of right in the middle with a 5 on the value on this. I don't think it's a particularly amazing value, but I don't think it's a bad value either. Collectability, well, I don't think you gotta have this, to be honest with you, and this is going to fit sort of a specific crowd. You probably don't want a 6-row planter unless you have a real 6-row planter on your farm, a real John Deere 7200, or if you're doing a small sort of farm display, then you're probably going to want that, well, that's bugging me, there we go, then you're probably going to want this thing. So again, I think collectability is going to land us with a solid 5. Okay, detail. Now, could they have done some other things to up the detail? Sure, but that would have upped the price, obviously. And, I think they were shooting for that $30 price range, as that's where most of these planters are ending up, these older style planters, if you will. Now, of course, if you're getting the new John Deere DB120 or the Case IH Early Riser, you're going to pay a fortune for those. But these older style planters, they're landing in that $30 price range. So I think, the detail on this, I'm going to go with a 7. I think it's a nicely detailed planter. I don't think there's, it's certainly not that boring old John Deere planter with no detail, and it's, it's not a Max Emerge, or it's not I'm sorry, like an early riser Case IH with maximum detail. But I think this fits nicely. Quality. So the quality on this thing is excellent. I mean, really, really top-notch stuff. The arms are super durable. They stay up. The folding mechanism, or I guess not folding, but raising and lowering mechanism is stout. And it will, as you saw earlier, and I'll do it again here, it will hold the planter in the air. Everything seems pretty well attached on this planter. And I can kind of tug and pull and all that stuff, and nothing's gonna come flying off on me. So I think the quality of this planter is a 9. Now I know that's getting up there pretty high, but I don't see any discoloring on the plastic. I don't see any sort of odd coloring, and like I said, it seems really durable. So I really like that. As for rarity, well, these aren't rare at all. There's still plenty of them out there for $30, even though this planter's been out a good while. And if you want, let's get you a back view of this for the remaining. And if you want one of these, you can certainly go get it and not have any trouble finding it. So the rarity on these, I'm going to go with a 4. I think I'm going to reserve those lower numbers for like the toy, like literal toy stuff, that the stuff that Ertl was making in the 1980s. So that's kind of my thoughts on it anyway. And so just doing some quick math here, I think with the value of 5, collectability 5, detail 7, quality 9, and rarity 4, that gives us a 30. So this is probably probably where it should be. Maybe the lower end of that entry-level collector toy, if you will, and sort of maybe even borderlining on actual toy. Now, I suppose there's some warning labels and telling you, don't let your kids play with this sort of thing, but I'll be honest, I wouldn't have any trouble letting a, older kid play with it. 3, 4 years old, probably not, but hey, if you're getting up there 8, 9, 10 years old, this is certainly something you can play with. Like I said, it's rugged, and it's just it's a nice toy. So, all right. Hope that satisfies your curiosity on the 7200 Max Emerge planter. As always, guys, I appreciate you watching. If you don't mind doing the like and share thing and all that good stuff, love to hear your comments. Hey, what other planters and implements do you want me to review? Let me know. And I hope later in this week or this weekend, we can talk about the live chat thing that we're going to do. So, we'll see. Hoping that shakes out for this weekend, but we'll see. All right, guys. Have yourselves a wonderful evening. Happy tractor hunting.